Welcome everybody to this free training, The Power of Self-Design Ceremony. I am so happy that you are joining us for this training. Self-Design Ceremony has been such a powerful component in my life to deepen my relationship with myself, with the world, with my family, with my work, with spirit and soul, and really living in sacred reciprocity with the wild world. So I'm so happy to share this technology with you, and I hope that you can find that it enriches your life in the same way that it has enriched mine. This first session, we're going to be really just diving into the foundations of ceremony and looking at the different steps of ceremony and ways in which we can start using ceremony in our own lives to really deepen our conversation with the world, which is so being asked of us right now in so many places. This training is a part of Seed and Stone, and we would love to have you join our community and be a part of more trainings and the way in which we are providing a lot of tools and a lot of resources right now to support you through these times. So if you get a moment, please check out Seed and Stone and feel free to reach out to me also with any questions. Love to hear from you. So we're going to begin with this quote by Rilke. If we surrender to Earth's intelligence, we could rise up rooted like trees. And you can really hear Rilke speaking to the importance of rooting down as a way to connect upward. And this is massively important right now. I mean, we are living in times of such uncertainty, times where things are ending, things are beginning at rapid rates. So it's so important to root down and rise up. And ceremony is a powerful, powerful tool to support that process. For so long, I think that we have either been in relationship to the spirit, the upper world, or the group of us has been in relationship to soul and the underworld, and we didn't often bring those two worlds together. And now we must. We are living in a new paradigm, and we can't do one without the other. So what I'm hoping is that we can really explore ceremony as a way to connect and really bring this vertical axis alive within you so that you can show up really strong, really grounded, and full of that inspiration and passion and gifts that you can bring into whatever is meeting you in that moment. So let's talk about when are some great times that you might want to use ceremony. And here are just a few. But really, ceremony is about becoming a participatory agent with the world, with your life, with your allies, with spirit, with soul. It's a way to become really conscious and engage in a conversation. For so long we've been so busy, and we've been moving through our days with such a busyness that it's become almost unconscious survival. And now we have this really great opportunity to access the potential energies that surround us and engage in a deeper conversation and really become this participatory agent that brings our world alive in so many different ways. We get to actually be contributors to the making of the world. And ceremony is the most powerful tool to engage in this process. Ceremony can be used in a lot of different ways. One way is to mark beginnings and endings. And with so much now on the planet coming to an end in our own personal lives, in the ecology of our world, the systems, our governmental systems, our banking systems, we are in a deep paradigm shift. So we can use ceremony as a way to consciously mark the endings, so to welcome in the new. And you and I may be in a process of coming to an end of a developmental stage or a job ending. And when we come to an end of something, it can be really easy to shift into victimhood or martyrhood. And we can really step out of that and into our wholeness with ceremony and shift our relationship to the ending of something, even if we don't want it to end, and really honor it and learn the lessons from that experience. If it is a person that we love, or a friend of ours, to really create a ceremony that can help our grieving process and to honor that individual, their life, and the way that that life has enriched our own. So there's a lot of practical applications of ceremony here. And then ceremony is also great then to mark the beginning of something new in your life. Right now it's springtime, and what a beautiful time to mark the beginning of this potential energy in our lives. And we may not even know the specifics of what we want to mark, but we can mark that this is a time of beginnings. This is a time of potential energy blossoming in our lives. So we can use ceremony to really mark the beginning of things. For example, like a new project that we might be working on in our lives, that may be bringing our work into a virtual online format. And we can bring the power of ceremony to bring those energies in and to welcome things coming together and bring forth the inspiration to really take action in the practical ways in our lives. So ceremony is a great technology for that as well. Ceremony can be used for saying yes to something, maybe stepping into a leadership role or a role in our life that really stretches us. Maybe you're stepping into being a parent for the first time and you want to mark that transition. Ceremony, what a great way to do that. Ceremony also provides the opportunity to honor and give gratitude and cultivate a deeper relationship with the world itself, with our partner, with the beings on the land, and with new projects and new team members. So it can really be a powerful tool, both practically and esoterically, to work with both the energies in the middle world, the practical realm, and also work with these invisible energies that are surrounding us and supporting us if we really become conscious of them and build a relationship as an ally and a supportive energy that can enrich and fuel and vitalize what we're working on and how we are living our lives. So I'm going to go over some steps here to consider when creating a ceremony. And the first piece of this that we really want to think about is setting an intention. Why are you creating a ceremony? What is the intention of the ceremony? We've talked about just a few ways that you might start to use the technology of ceremony. So really getting a clear intention. I've set a few intentions around some ceremonies when I graduated from my master's program to really mark the ending of that. And I really wanted to mark the ending of becoming a student and stepping into then a doer. Now, I'm always a student, I'm always learning. However, I really wanted to mark that transition. So that ceremony had a very, very, very clear an intention of honoring and thanking all that big experience that I had of being in school, and then now stepping into a practitioner, stepping into a guide, stepping into a therapist in a way which I was bringing these gifts into the world and marking that transition. And that ceremony really acted as a real support in that process of fueling and energizing that transition. So it's important to have an intention, and that doesn't mean that the intention controls the ceremony. The ceremony is a living being, and we are participating in this ceremony with this living being in a way that will take on its own form and surprise us, and things will show up in the ceremony. Snake might roll through the middle of your ceremony unplanned, just at the right time to really to validate or to witness or to bring its own energy into vitalizing your ceremony. So the intention is important to have a sense of what is the ceremony about, but it's not about controlling your ceremony. It's really about helping to bring and fuel and bring your ceremony alive with the power of your intention. Okay, so one of the first steps then of the ceremony is going to be crossing the threshold, entering from the ordinary world into the non-ordinary world. And it's like stepping through a doorway or a portal, crossing that threshold into the ceremony from this ordinary world into the unordinary world, deeply conscious shifting. And this process does not have to be complicated. It can be really simple. It can be as simple as stepping across a stick or over a creek or between two trees. It could be a song that you know or a poem that you love. But it's the power and the intention behind that threshold crossing is what's most important. And using your imagination, imagining yourself really stepping from this world into this ceremonial world. Our imagination is going to be one of the most important tools that we can use in creating in a ceremony, in engaging with a ceremony. And in the advanced training, we are really going to go deeper into these steps, and we're going to be talking about really specific ways that are aligned with your own intention and your life right now, so that you can really turn the volume up. You can really access the power of these steps as a way to really access the entirety of a ceremony. So once you've crossed that threshold and you've moved now into the ceremonial space, you are in this kind of in-between space. You're in this non-reality that you typically live in. And so this is where a lot of magic can happen. And this is the time where you enact your ceremony. And again, this can be really, really simple. You know, I think a lot of the times we think of ceremony, we think of, lots of colors and ceremonial garments and power pieces and community. And yes, we can have all of that in a ceremony, but we also can have in our day of taking care of our family and doing our work, stepping out into our backyard and enacting a 15-minute ceremony that can be deeply powerful, especially when we feel called to that. So just remember, the simplicity and slowing down is really important within the whole ceremony, and really in this part too. So as you enact your ceremony, it's really this part is using the ceremony as could be for communication, to really speak to spirit, to speak to soul, to ask for support, or to speak your longings into the world of what you want to step into. It can be imagining yourself in a certain place in your life, delivering your work, or deepening your spiritual practice. So you can imagine yourself in that place, and maybe there's a gesture or even a verse or another poem that you can bring in that deepens that intention in this ceremonial action. There's other things that you can do in this part too, in this enactment action part of the ceremony that really is authentic and it comes alive and is in alignment with what you're wanting to create in your life. We're going to talk more in the advanced training about how to work with different maps, like bringing in the directions to create a container in this part and to really help to support and deepen. This part can be also used for, again, marking an ending. Maybe you're severing a ceremonial string that's ending something, or you're honoring someone in this part, or you're saying yes to and welcoming something new in your life. So this is the time of the ceremony you really take action. And that can look a lot of different ways. And sometimes it can be really spontaneous in this part. And this is where synchronicities and beings on the land might begin to show up and add their support. So you always want to be slowing down and paying attention during this action part to what's going on around you. And as this action comes to a close, then the next step is to end the ceremony. And ending the ceremony is really crossing over from this non-ordinary reality into a new place. So it's not walking back to where you've been. You've just enacted a very powerful process, and the world has received this. So you're stepping out now from the ceremonial place, and into a different state of consciousness. But it's a new place. It might have some familiarity of where you've just come from, but you're in a new relationship. Ceremony deeply shifts the relationship to ourselves and inherently then shifts our relationship to the world. So you've now stepped into a new place. So you might want to really honor this stepping into and out of the ceremony in a way where you slow down, you check in. Where am I now? Feeling, noticing what's happening within you, noticing what's happening in the world around you, and then stepping across that ceremonial threshold back out into the world. And I like to sometimes do it with a gesture, spontaneous voice, but really in some really powerful way that I know that I'm closing this ceremonial place. I'm kind of putting this is coming to an end, and I'm stepping now into this new place in my life. And again, that could be a poem. That could be simply stepping back out of your ceremonial space. That could be a song. It could be the use of your breath as an offering. So there's lots of different ways that we can really unpack and explore in looking at the ways then to close and end the ceremony. And then once you step out of the ceremony, then the next step is to really wait, watch, and listen. So like I've said, you've engaged in a very powerful practice, a very powerful technological process that you've sent your energy and your voice out into the world. And now we want to sit and listen and see how the world responds. Maybe the ceremony was a deeper connection to spirit and soul. So we want to listen and open ourselves up to see what we hear back. This is really about reciprocity and respect. We don't want to just move back into our day-to-day. And this again can be a really short. It's how much present can you bring? It could be 5 minutes where you just sit in the most present sense that you can, bringing attention to what's happening within you and really bringing attention to what's happening around you. And you might work on different levels of the concentric rings. You might be working on the beings in this physical realm that are showing up. You might be in the imaginal realm and working with the invisible energies and the invisible beings that are showing up around you. So you can work on different levels here. And probably the world won't respond, in the English language. So you want to really connect in. What are the emotions that are coming up? The images? What are the feelings, the sensations? How is the wind and the trees around me responding? Really taking note of what's going on. And you might carry this off then into your day. You might stay in this space, even if you're, working with your family or working at your job or deepening into your work. You might just begin to, you've created a ceremony. You've sent out a message. So you're in this dialogue. So you might just bring awareness to that and really listen and watch to what's going on around you. Really, really take hold of this ceremony the way that just brings so much generativity to your life. And then the next step really is to give thanks and offer gratitude. before you leave your ceremonial space, really offer gratitude. Offer gratitude to the guides, your ancestors, whoever showed up to support you in this ceremony. Offer gratitude and thanks for the space that held this ceremony and the beings, the trees and the plants and the birds and whoever else was there to witness this ceremony. So really take time to offer gratitude. This is probably one of the most important things you can do in the way in which you are deepening that relationship of sacred reciprocity. And you might listen and wait again once you offer gratitude for just a moment to really hear how that's received. Very powerful act, very powerful. So those are the steps of ceremony as I've come to know them and work with them, and you may have your own that you might add in, or this might help to simplify some things. But where to begin now? So now you've gotten some steps here, and you've gotten a sense of some of the foundations of ceremony. And I would really, really recommend or invite you to start simple. To really allow the ceremony to be simple and powerful. And most importantly, just to slow down and to listen to where you're being called right now. You know the ceremony that you need to enact right now. That ceremony is right there. And so really it's taking the time to walk out and engage in the ceremony. And, make it accessible. So you could simply walk right out into your backyard. I talk a lot about family because I have a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old. So these kids are to bed. I'm going to walk out. I'm going to engage in a simple self-designed ceremony, maybe to work with the new moon or the full moon. And it doesn't have to be elaborate. I really, really want to stress that. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be really, really simple. Might just create a little circle with a rope in your backyard and step into it and enact that ceremony. If you have access to the land, you might walk out into the forest and be on the land and feel where you're drawn in the forest to enact a ceremony. These beings are here to support us, and when we bring ceremony into our lives as a way to get into conversation, the world starts to respond. And always be giving gratitude at all steps of the way, giving gratitude for yourself, the world, and what you have in your life. And if you have more questions, if you want to go a little deeper, check out the second session. Ceremony is a technology. We're going to get a little deeper into some practical applications of how to use ceremony. And if this training resonates with you, I hope you can join us at Seed and Stone, our Seed and Stone community, for more trainings. We would love to have you part of our community, and I'll be offering a lot more trainings that are going to support you during this time as a way to deepen into the bigger story that's happening in the world. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to questions and comments and working with you in the future. Blessings.